let me start by saying absolutely in fuego. 4-1. We crushed it with the picks. Plant, Alvarez, I called it. I told you guys, 9th to 12th round stoppage. We said 10th. It was the 11th. You guys were tweeting at me. You're putting money in your pocket. And at the end of the day, you're having fun doing it. And that's all that matters. So we're going to keep that momentum going, as I said, on this Tuesday and Wednesday tomorrow as well. But I want to get into the NFL. We'll get into some of the bad officiating, which we saw last night in that Monday night debacle. The NFL. I mean, are you kidding me with some of these upsets? Now, we didn't get one Sunday in a game. If you're an Eagles fan, that game was there for you. And, again, I can't really beat up the gardener that is Nick Sirianni. I can't because he made adjustments in that game for the Philadelphia Eagles against Los Angeles, San Diego, against the Chargers. They ran the ball very well. And you're going to have an opportunity to do that against a team that can't stop the run in Los Angeles. I mean, Philadelphia Eagles ran for $176 on 39 carries. They were averaging 4.5. And I'll say this, too. Jalen Hurts, the numbers were not gaudy. 11 of 17, 162. Did he miss some throws? Absolutely. Absolutely. But he is game. Now, I don't think that's enough to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. And late in that game, if you want to get on Jonathan Gannon's defensive secondary, Chargers win it late on a field goal, 27-24, which drops the Birds to 3-6. And more importantly and alarming, they haven't won at home yet. They're 0 for 4. The fact that they give up so much with some of these quarterbacks. I mean, Justin Herbert, who you know I have a man crush on, 32 of 38, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. He wasn't even touched. And by the way, I told you, take Eckler over 48 yards. I said it on Klein's show on Friday. Eckler, 59 yards. So that was another winner for you. The defense, though, has to take some hits. Jonathan Gannon has to take some hits. The numbers are just staggering. I mean, they let quarterbacks go up there and basically complete 80%. Herbert's the 5th quarterback to complete 80+% of passes against the Eagles this season. Between 1950 and 2020, the Philadelphia Eagles have allowed just 6 quarterbacks to complete 80+% of their throws. Minimum 25 attempts. They already did it 5 times. And look, you know, the fan throwing the flowers or whatever is a jackass and should be banned. That's just stupid. That's just stupidity. I think that's also frustration. But don't take it out on the coach. Don't. What I'm looking at right now with this Philadelphia Eagles team and their defense, it does appear to be broken. It does. You know, the run defense made some plays. Now, the Chargers went for it a couple times on 4th down, so I'll tell you, you give a little credit where credit is due. The Eagles were able to make some stops. I thought Hurts' best throw and catch was the touchdown to Smith to tie it at 24-24 with about 10 to go in the 4th quarter. But I've watched too many times this year with the Philadelphia Eagles where you're still not getting what you think you should be getting from the quarterback. And I'm not picking on him. I'm just making an observation. There are throws in the NFL that you have to make if you're a quarterback. You just have to. And I like the fact that Sirianni decided we're going to use his legs. We're going to let his legs kind of keep us in this game. Look, there's no moral victories in the NFL. And this is the game where I said on Thursday's show, I can see 23-20 for either the Eagles or for the Chargers. And it turned out it was 27-24. They got beat on the last-second field goal. Hey, I don't feel bad because as a Giant fan, I can attest to those bad losses late. But win, lose, or draw, here's a couple things that I've learned thus far. The young head coach is starting to understand to be successful in the NFL, you don't need to run on every single down, offensive possession, but you do need to establish the run. And I give him credit because now all of a sudden he's kind of implemented that run-based system. And to me, that accounts for Hurts and the quarterback's strengths and his weaknesses. Now, Is it a long-term, sustainable system? I don't know. But it gives the quarterback an opportunity to make plays, keeps plays alive, extend plays, and that's what you want. The last 2 drives of the first half, Jalen Hurts was under center for 11 of 26 snaps. The Philadelphia Eagles ran the ball 9 times for 51 yards, pretty much out of basic formation. And the one play action, which the run sets up the play action, was a 27-yarder to Smith, and then a scramble for 6, which, again, if you put it under the microscope, amassed, about 143 yards? And they were able to score on both those possessions. But, again, somewhere, somehow, he kind of went away. They had 33 design runs, 24 plays in which Hurts dropped back to pass. He completed 11 of 17 for 162 and a touchdown. He scrambled 6 for 40. Sacked once. Offensive line did a nice job when they had to. But the alarming eye-popping, right, is that he only attempted, fewer than 20 passes? Now, they were still on point, some of them, but not all of them. You know, a couple plays to Goddard play, you got to make that throw. It's got to come down with the catch. Missed opportunities, right? He overthrew Goddard on that first drive. The play to Smith was wide in the end zone on the last drive. Not good. All right, you give him a pass if you want to say he had a guy running down the barrel, staring him at the face on the first one, fine. The second was a case, I think, what not to do mechanically. When you start to pedal backwards, that's not good. The other thing I took away, which is really annoying, is there's death taxes, and Derek Barnett is good for a penalty. He's good for a penalty. Now, I'm telling you right now, to me, he's a bust. He's a bust. Every time I turn around, he's jumping off sides. He's holding. Personal foul. I'm going to keep a drive alive. 3rd and 6. I'm giving up 5. Make it manageable. 3rd and 1. Not good. They're going to have to clean up their defense. I mean, it's just been a bugaboo. And the defensive line has kind of lost their teeth. And I think people really don't understand that loss of Brandon Graham. Again, you can't overcome that. And now the Philadelphia Eagles have to turn around, and this is where it gets a little dicey. You had to win against the Detroit Lions to stop a 2-game slide, but now all of a sudden, boom, you've dropped 3 out of 4. And they've been ugly ones. The Raiders was an ugly game. The Chargers, disappointing loss. The Bucks were just a better team. Eagles aren't ready to win yet. You've got the Denver Broncos, who are coming off a shellacking over the Dallas Cowboys. You got the Saints coming up. Who knows what will happen? Maybe they make a move for Beckham, who was released officially yesterday by Cleveland. I know there's some thought the Pats, the Packers, maybe the Saints. Then you got the Giants. And the Giants are feeling pretty good about themselves because the New York Football Giants have done something they rarely do. They won a football game. They've won 2 out of 3, and they beat the Raiders 23-16. And say what you want about the Giants, offensively putrid. Their defense is really stepping up. I know I've been critical of Patrick Graham, but their defense is really opportunistic. The X-Man had a couple picks the other day, a pick 6. Then they strip sack Carr late to preserve the win. So, as crazy as it sounds, at 3 and 6, you have a little optimism. And I'm not going to say you've got optimism if you're a Giant and/or Eagles fan. I'm just saying it as a whole. At 3 and 6, you get on a run, you win a couple games. The Giants, I believe the Giants have winnable games coming up. Now, the game against Tampa is going to be tough, but that's coming off a bye. But then they have the Eagles, Dolphins, Chargers. So let's just say you get to 6 and 7, you're in the mix. Maybe you go on a little run and win 3-4 in a row. Now, all of a sudden, you're 7 and 6. This is why those early losses, Washington, horrible, the Falcons, horrible. You are what your record is, folks. 5 and 4 would have looked a heck of a lot different than 3 and 6. So, listen, anything can happen now that there's 17 games. The NFC is so jumbled. I'm not as confident saying that with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think when it's all said and done, they're going to win their 6 or 7 games. But The defensive coordinator scares the bejeevuses out of me, and he should if you're an Eagles fan. We'll talk more about that with Johnny Mack. As far as the rest of the NFL, listen, you saw the parity over the weekend. You saw some of these upsets. I mean, it's crazy. Denver's up 30-0. They beat the Dallas Cowboys 30-16. The Falcons, we loved them on the money line. That was a winner. The Giants, we sprinkled something. That was a winner. Carolina's going south. They were 3-0. Now, all of a sudden, the Carolina Panthers are getting ready to basically bench Sam Darnold. He's seeing ghosts. I thought Sam Darnold was going to be the best comeback story of the NFL season, and it's not by a long shot. They've all of a sudden had dropped 4 out of their last 5. The big upset, Jacksonville, plus what? 1,200? Their defense taking care of Buffalo, whose offense looks broken. The Chiefs, now, depending upon where you hung your hat, you covered, maybe you didn't. Had to get a win against the Packers with no Rodgers. Love looked just horrible. And then I thought one of the most impressive wins over the weekend, the Titans. And we also told you, take an AP anytime touchdown. I was shocked by this outcome. As much as I wax poetic about Stafford, and then he throws 2 bad picks, one is a pick 6, the other that got the ball on the 1-yard line. Overall, that's a bad loss by the Rams. A real bad loss. So they're going to have to tighten some things up. So what did we learn 9 weeks into the NFL season? It's another year of absolute parity. Just when you think you figured it out, nobody knows. And if you look at some of these lines already, in week 10, I mean, my God, they're just so overblown. There's 2 games that stand out, I'll tell you right now, at 4:16 on a Tuesday that I like. Just 2. Thus far. That's it. Just 2. The Chargers at home against the Vikings, which is 2.5, and then Tennessee at home against the Saints. All these other lines are absolutely ridiculous. 13, 9, 9.5. Eagles are 2.5-point dogs on the road against Denver and Teddy Checkdown. Seattle, they get Russell Wilson back on the road, getting 3. The Rams laying 4 against the 49ers. Pittsburgh, 9-point favorite. Buffalo, 13-point favorite. Baltimore on Thursday night. I teased the Steelers last night. I was thinking about potentially closing it with Baltimore. I hate that hook, but I might have to take it against a bad Dolphins team. So the lines are just goofy. The lines are absolutely goofy. So we'll dive into it on the other side with Johnny Mack, football in the 20s. Give you some updates on the NBA as well. A very light night in the league. We'll give you some updates on the Ben Simmons and where he might be going. Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. All right, so keep it locked in here as we're just cranking it up on a Tuesday edition of BYP. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up. Johnny Mack on the other side on this 9th of November, 2021. Inside the AM 1490 Sports Betting Radio studios down the shore.